It is my pleasure to welcome all my third year students. So far we have covered Vedic education, the characteristics of Vedic education, aims and objectives, methods of teaching, curriculum, all this we have covered. So today I propose to have a discussion on the role of student, teacher, the type of relationship between the two, and the nature of discipline. In course of our discussion in the previous classes, we have given some ideas about the role of students, role of teachers, but today we will have a little bit detailed discussion on the students during the Vedic period. As you know that nowadays our students, our children, they are taking admission in class 1 at 5 plus, or nowadays it is 6 plus. Similarly, in Vedic period, particularly Brahmins, at the age of 8, the Brahmin children, they were getting admitted into Gurukula system. But as we understand, education was allowed to the Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. It was not allowed to the Sudras. So when Brahmins at the age of 8, they sent their children to Gurukulas, the Kshatriyas at the age of 11, they sent their children to Gurukul. And the Vaishyas at the age of 12, they sent their children to Gurukul. So at different ages, students of different caste, they were getting admitted into the Gurukula system. Then they were being admitted through an Upanayan ceremony. Without conducting that ceremony, no student was admitted. And as you know, this Upanayan ceremony, it took 3 days for completion. After 3 days of celebration of Upanayan ceremony, then the students were admitted. Now they are known as Brahmacharis. They are also known as Dvijas. Our parents, they have given birth to us. So that is of our first birth. We were born from our parents. But now we take a second birth. Our teachers, they give us second birth through this Upanayan ceremony. So after Upanayan, the students got admitted to Gurukul. And all these students who were enrolled, who were admitted in Gurukul, they were called as Brahmacharis. That we have discussed. And all these students who were admitted there, Brahmacharis who were enrolled there, they were staying in Guru Ashram. They were not commuting, going from their home. They were staying with the teacher, with the Guru. And inside the ashram, discipline was strictly enforced. You cannot violate the norms of the ashram. Whatever rules, regulations, norms have been fixed, every student, every brahmachari has to follow. During the schooling, during the Gurukula time, the brahmacharis, they have to observe the principles of celibacy, continence strictly. And if there is any type of violation, the students, the brahmacharis, they will be expelled from ashram. If they violate the rules of the ashram, they have no right to continue there. That is why discipline was strictly enforced, and the more emphasis was given on character and good conduct. No compromise with character and good conduct, as I have told you the other day. So all types of activities were carried on, organized in ashram so as to develop good character and good conduct. The students, they learned different values, different virtues: honesty, truthfulness, duty bound, discipline, punctuality, obedience, and all these virtues make someone a good man in future, a good citizen in future. So in the ashrams, all the rules which were enforced were strictly adhered to, obeyed by the students, and any type of violation that will lead to even their expulsion from ashram. Then in ashram, the students, they are leading a very, very simple life. The motto was how to get more knowledge, how to understand, realize the higher values of life, how to accumulate wealth, not in terms of money, but wealth in terms of power, knowledge. So that is why simple living and high thinking, that was the motto of every student, every brahmachari admitted in the ashram school. Let us switch over to some other aspects of student. So in my other class, I had also given you some idea about the duties of the students. In ashram or Gurukula ashram, the students, they go for collection of fuel. Then they also go for collection of firewood from the jungle, from the forests. They tend cattle. They also cultivate ashram land. And they do different types of manual works there. They understand the dignity of labor. They serve their teacher in different ways. They also cultivate, they develop some crops, vegetables. So they assist the teacher in all types of ashram works. The students, they unhesitatingly help the teacher. They participate in all types of ashram works. So they understand, they realize the dignity of labor. They also go for begging alms. When they go for begging alms, they understand the dignity, or they understand what is the humility, what is humbleness, how to forget your anger, how to forget your ego. So you will be noble one. So that is why they are going to villages for collection of, or for begging of alms. Then the students learn different higher values. They learn different higher values: cooperation, tolerance, fellow feeling, sacrifice. By living together, they were living together in ashram. The inmates of ashram, they live together, they work together, they study together, they play together, and they dine together. So when the students, they are living together, working together, studying together, playing together, dining together, this gives them some virtues. They learn how to cooperate with each other, fellow feeling, brotherhood, sacrifice, all democratic virtues. They learn by living together, playing together, working together, dining together. So this is one of the important aspects. Nowadays we are insisting on such things. We are organizing different camps, NSS camps, NCC camps, Scout and Guide camps. Why the students are participating in such camps? Because they live together, work together, study together, and dine together. So when they eat together, play together, study together, they learn such virtues. Such virtues cannot be taught, but such virtues can be caught. If you participate in such activities, you will learn these virtues. Then these students, they study for 12 years. They stay in the ashram for 12 years and they complete the specified courses whatever there. The teacher the teacher considers that the child is fit for completion of the course. Now the child is fit to resume his social duties. If he enters the society on completion of study, he will come back and join in the mainstream. So whatever knowledge, skill, experience that was required during that 12 years of study in Gurukul, he will acquire that. So it is the teacher, he must be satisfied. He will issue the certificate. Yes, now the child is fit to leave this ashram and he should join the social life. So he was staying for 12 years. And after completion of the study, as here in universities, nowadays we are conducting convocation to award degrees, diploma. So we are conducting some convocation. Similarly, these convocation sessions were also organized in ashram schools. And the students, they leave the school and in the last meeting, the teacher gives the final speech to the students how to lead a successful, good social life, civic life in the society. The students were very much motivated, inspired with the speech. And the students, the brahmacharis, they used to give some Guru Dakshina. When they complete education, they give Guru Dakshina to the teacher. For subsistence of the teachers, Guru Dakshina was being paid. There are some benevolent persons. They were also contributing many things to the teachers for their survival. So they get degrees after completion of 12 years. Then these students, the brahmacharis, now they have become scholars. During the process, they have become good scholars. And after 12 years, 5 to 20 scholars, they form a parishad. It is a higher form of one gathering, intellectual gathering, where ideas are exchanged, seminars, debates, discussions are conducted among the so-called scholars, those who have completed this Vedic education in ashram school. Now they impart some more training, more knowledge to other inmates. So that parishad is formed with 5 to 20 scholars. And thereafter, some scholars from different gurukulas, they also combine together. They form one association. As we form different academic associations, they also form one association. We call it Sammilani. Sammilani. They form different Sammilani. They sit together, discuss together, share, exchange ideas, and also that Sammilan or Parishad, these are different institutions which provide Vedic education, post-Vedic education to the scholars. So this is about the students. The other aspect is, some of the students, they have given me feedback from first class. They want some little bit more clarification regarding women education. So among the students were women, the girls. So the girls and the boys, they were having equal status. Education was not denied to them. Education was also allowed to them. Girls, those who are interested, particularly belonging to rich class people, they were coming and admitted in schools. They were also going through the same process, Upanayana ceremony. They were known as boys, they were known as brahmacharis, and they were known as brahmavadini. So these girls, they were being educated there. They were getting education. There was no child marriage system in those days. Child marriage was not there. But however, at 16th plus, 16th, 17th of age, many of the girls, they were getting married. So they were getting little bit of education from Gurukul about dance, music, different aspects of Arthashastra. All these were taught to them and they are getting married. Such girls who get early married, they are known as Sadhya Vadhus. They are Sadhya Vadhus. They take little bit of education relating to music, dance, Arthashastra, etc. and they start their social life. There are some other categories of girls, Brahma Vadinis. They wanted to continue a little longer period of time to gather more knowledge, to gather more information and knowledge about higher values of life. So they will continue for some longer period and thereafter at a later stage they will get married. And the third category of Brahmavadinis, the girls, they were never married. They were not married. They remain all through as spinster. So they continue education till the end. And many of them have become Rishikas. On completion of their education, they have become Rishikas. They have contributed substantially. They take part in all religious, intellectual activities like that of the boys. In the Gurukula ashram, the wife of the Rishi, wife of the Guru, she was helping the Guru in all aspects. She was taking part, helping the Guru in academic intellectual transactions. That is why, as the wife is always accompanied with the husband, they are called as Dharma Patni. They are known as Dharma Patni or Sahadharmini, Sahakarmini, like that. And without the cooperation of the girls, women, you cannot perform any yajna, any rituals. The help of the wife, that is a must. Without their help, you cannot organize any ritual, any ceremony. That remains incomplete. If you go back to those days, Ramachandra, Sri Prabhu Sri Ram, he also could not organize that Ashwamedha Yajna in the absence of Sita. So he had to develop an image of Sita made out of gold. A golden Sita was prepared by him, and wife always sat beside the husband to perform any ritual, any homa, any yaga. So that is why they were given due recognition in Vedic period. So in Vedic period, the girls, they are also known as Kumari. We call them Kumari. Now also we call the unmarried girls Kumaris. So the Kumari, they bring prosperity to both father and husband. As we call in Odia, Duhita Dui Kurokuhita. Duhita means daughter is helpful to both the father side as well as the husband side. Similarly, the Kumari brings prosperity to both father as well as husband. Kumaris are also known as Vidusis. They are also known as Vidusi. And the learned, educated husband known as Monisi. So, the Vidusis, they bring prosperity to both father and husband, Manisi. And the girls, they used to receive education on dancing, acting, music and other branches of Arthashastra, the science of art and trade. So this was taught to the girl students. And this Mimamsa, this was the literature that was taught to the girls. This Mimamsa embodies the elements of education of women. Understand? And as I told you, women are called Dharma Patni, then Sahadharmini. All this we have already discussed. So after getting education, those who wanted to continue without getting married, they became Rishikas subsequently. There are many eminent Rishikas. So here are the names of some Rishikas who were very prominent during that time. They were Rishikas, or teachers of high caliber, profound caliber. They have substantial contribution to Vedic literature. Some of them were, one is Romosha, Lopamudra, Opoda, then Kadru, Vishwamara, Ghosha. Another one is Bagambhatrini, then Julu. Another one is Ussa, then Bharati, Shikata, Navavari, Polo, Jarita, Shraddha Kamayam, then Urbasi, Savitri, Indrani, Jauta, then Gopoyana. These are some of the eminent Rishikas who had some contributions to Vedic literature, and therefore their names are recorded in Vedic education. So now we will switch over to the role of teacher. What type of teacher? Teachers were known as Acharyas. So what type of Acharyas were there? Let us discuss. During Vedic period, the teachers were known as Acharyas, and mostly the teachers were from Brahmin community. Mostly Acharyas were from Brahmin communities. The Guru in the Gurukula system mostly come from Brahmin community, but however the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas also became Acharyas by dint of their hard labor, perseverance. They could also become the Acharyas, but generally the Brahmins, they used to become Acharyas. And in the Gurukula system, all educational activities center around the Guru. So the Guru, the Acharya, was the pivot of all educational system. The educational system centers around the Guru. He is the preceptor who shows the right path for attainment of highest goal of life. In Vedic period, as we said, the aim of education was achieving salvation. Mokhyam Nirvanam Savidya Jam Vimuktare. So, how to attain that? That is our ultimate goal. So, teachers, acharyas, they help the students. They show the path. They help the students to attain that higher or highest goal of life. They organize number of activities in the ashram, Gurukul, and the personality is built up. Personalities of students are built up accordingly, so they can reach the greater divinity. They can attain salvation. They can get mokhyam. They can realize the higher goals of life like Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. So it is due to only the contributions of acharyas. So the acharyas, gurus, they are considered as living library and encyclopedia. The students used to learn everything from their gurus. So Guru was the library, the living library. For anything, for any clarification, for any discussion, for any reflection, deliberation, whatever, they were going to the teacher. So teacher was the encyclopedia. All doubts of the students were clarified through the teacher. As we get our knowledge or our doubts clarified from encyclopedia, we get knowledge. From library we get knowledge. Library is the storehouse of knowledge. So Guru was the storehouse of knowledge. From Guru, everything students learned. And the teachers, the gurus, they cultural continuity, they help in cultural continuity, enriching and transmitting to future generation. Cultural continuity. The gurus, they used to teach the students about the cultural traditions, customs, faith, belief, worship, everything of that society. So this is how the culture is preserved. It is not lost in the process. It is transmitted to the succeeding generation. Not only gurus preserve the cultural heritage, but also enrich. They add to this. They contribute something to the development of our culture, cultural traditions, and transmit it to the future generation, the succeeding generation. So gurus, they protect, preserve our cultural heritage. Okay? Then, deep respect and reverence for teachers. Teachers not only enjoy respect from the students, from the disciples, but also from the members of the community. The parents, they also give due reverence, due respect to the teachers. Kings too also, in those days, kings also paid due regards, due respect to the teachers. The kings bow down before sagacious savants, rishis, seers and scholars. The kings also, they bow down before their teachers. So teachers were considered in high esteem. Understand? Some kings in those days, they also worked like the rishis. They became rishis. They imparted education, training to the brahmacharis. So let us note down some of the kings, Kshatriya kings, who became rishis later on. They have contributed also substantially to Vedic education. One is Thrashodasis, then Treruna, then Aswamedha, Azmila, Purmila, Sindhudipa, Sindhukhit, Mandhata, Shibi, then Pratardhan, Bashumanas, Prithvivarya. These are some of the Kshatriya kings who became rishis. There are some non-Brahmins who also became great sages, scholars during those times. Some of them were Vedavyasa. All of us, we have heard about Vedavyasa. Parasara. We have heard about Vedavyasa and Parasara, very common names. Satyakam and Jibal. They are non-Brahmins, but they became rishis by virtue of their own hard labor, endurance and knowledge. Perseverance. They could become rishis. Okay? So this is all about the type of teachers, acharyas, they were during the Vedic period. I have already discussed almost all aspects of Vedic education. So by now I understand, or I think you must have understood the type of relationship between the teacher and the taught that was prevalent in Vedic period. But for your understanding, I want to reiterate those points once again. The ashrams, Gurukula that was established in solitude, in a very calm and quiet place, away from the villages, away from city life, in a very calm, solitude, serene place, the Gurukulas were established. And it was residential in nature. We have discussed that the students, they used to stay in Gurukul for 12 years for completion of their education. It was residential in nature. They were staying in Guru's house. And the relationship between teacher and taught, the relationship between the students, the brahmacharis and the teacher, that was excellent. That was very cordial as well as spiritual, very religious. Such type of relationship was existing between the teacher, the acharya and the brahmacharis, the teacher and the taught. Then teachers, the gurus, they help the students, brahmacharis, for realization of ultimate truth. What is ultimate truth? Again and again, time and again, I have been telling you, the ultimate truth of life is self-realization, God realization, achievement of moksham, realization of nirvana, attainment of nibbana. So all these are the ultimate goals of our life. And teachers enable their disciples, their students, to attain that salvation, that truth of life. Then teacher is an institution. Teacher is not an individual. As schools are institutions, similar teacher is an institution, and he is the source of all knowledge. He is a living library. He is encyclopedia. So it is worth saying that teachers were institutions during Vedic period. And the relationship of teacher and student, the acharya and brahmachari, was like that of father and son. They were tied in a relationship which can be compared with that of father and son. The teachers, they loved their children very much just like their own children. And the son, means the disciples, they had also due respect, reverence, respect for their acharyas. There was then the love, affection and sympathy from teachers. Teachers used to pay due love, affection and sympathy to the students, to the brahmacharis. They forget their parents. They leave home for 12 years. They are away from home. So they forget their own kith and kin, their parents, and they love their teachers. Due to adequate love and affection from their teachers, they used to forget everything. And not only the teachers, but also the family members, they also used to provide adequate love and affection. Guruma, the wife of gurus, acharyas, they are also treating the children just like her own children. That is why the disciples, they love to stay in Gurukulas, because the Guru and his wife and other members of the family also, they are just like the own family members. So they forget their own home. And we can just give some example. What sort of relationship was prevalent there between the Acharya and the students? Some examples are here. Sandipani and Sri Krishna. Lord Sri Krishna and his Guru Sandipani. Then Sri Ram. Sri Ram and his Guru Vishwamitra. Rishi Vishwamitra. So this is how they are connected. Such type of wonderful relationship was existing between Acharya and Brahmacharis. This is all about Vedic education. Just to conclude, once again, I may remind you that we have covered features of Vedic education, aims and objectives of Vedic education, the curriculum of Vedic education, methods of teaching of Vedic education, students of Vedic education, acharyas are teachers of Vedic education, teacher-taught relationship that was prevalent during Vedic education. So this, in a nutshell, finishes my discussion on education during Vedic period. Okay? So I hope you must have enjoyed all these lectures, and please go through, read sincerely. If you find any difficulty, you can also give your feedback. I will clarify your doubts as required. Okay? Till then, goodbye.